What's up, guys? It's Wheezy here, and welcome to the second episode of the Founder Academy. So we're going to start today's episode off by showing some of the upgrades that we've been making. Because the team was starting off from scratch, and this only is the second episode, we only have 2 games, so we didn't have a huge amount of coins, so we wanted to basically solidify a bit of the midfield as well as a bit of the back end, and then if we can upgrade the striker situation. So the striker situation obviously was one that I wasn't necessarily feeling a need to do right away, but Saito Berahino was a really good deal, only a couple hundred coins. He does have a ones to watch card, so it was something that I thought I might not get the opportunity to do this. Maybe we can get some goal scoring, even though we've had some decent goal scoring. If we come up against a better, an all-around gold team, that we might need that little bit of an upgrade from a 62 rated bronze nickel striker to a gold player. So as you can see, we pop him right into the team. He hard links with all of the guys up in that top left corner, and that also gave us one of the other manager tasks, so that'll give us another one of those bonuses in the manager tasks section. So as we go in there, we've got a couple other things unlocked. We've got the squad debut, the green links, so a couple hundred coins and a couple packs, which are going to prove to be very valuable. So as we open up this lone player pack, as you can see, we pick up a central defender from Bosnia in the Calcio A League. So he's probably not a guy that we're going to start, but having him come on, as well as the Austrian player there, Shop, or how to pronounce that, who is going to play in the Bundesliga. These are guys that are going to come on as super subs, or if we're playing against a guy who has got an all-gold team, we might want to get them on right away just so we can have a little bit more of a balanced team. But as I've said in the previous episode, we're more concerned with the chemistry. We just want to get that 100 chem, because as you'll see later in the episode, when you're playing against teams that have 100 chemistry, it's so important, because those players, those bronze players, they play way better than they're expected to, than their card stats say. They do get a boost when they're getting those full chem. So you'd rather have a full bronze chemistry team than a gold team that has no chemistry at all. As we open up our next pack, Lone Ross Barkley. I mean, that is such a huge pull. There's guys that use him right now. Even in Weekend League, you'll see him pop up from time to time. So to have a Ross Barkley, as you can see, fits right in there at cam. We can move Darren Fletcher over for 7 games. That will hopefully get us, that'll get us out of Division 10. Fingers crossed. There's no reason why we shouldn't. And as I put him in the team, I'm going to show here some of my custom tactics. The team's taken some pretty good shape. And what I like to do is I like to build up the play really quickly. I like to spread my passing across medium. A lot of short passing, but this year, if you do too much short passing, the players tend to get clogged. So what I want to do is have that short passing kind of stretched out so the players have a little bit of distance and they actually spread the field a little bit more. In terms of the build-up play, we want to have it free form, so the players are moving around. They're not super congested, as well as defensively have it just kind of not that different than the default tactics. If you're not going to touch your default tactics, that's okay on the defensive side of things. You just want to make sure that you change that offside trap to cover, because the offside trap is going to leave you super vulnerable in the back, and the cover is very important. It basically will have your players covering for a player that gets pulled out of position, a player that gets caught too far on the side. The rest of the team adjusts for that. So defensively, I don't change my custom tactics too much. I usually just go off of the default type of setup, and then I'll just kind of move them a little bit. And as I mentioned before, this is something that you don't really want to play around too much with unless you're super confident in your ability and you can actually have your high line set up. But we'll get into that in future episodes. We can talk about the custom tactics. So as we go into our first game, this is the team that we come up against. He's got a 77 rated team, but very poor chemistry. So obviously a guy who hasn't played a lot of Ultimate Team. This was the teams that I was talking about. I don't worry too much when I come up against them. I mean, sometimes you'll get a really good FIFA player that knows how to just play with these teams regardless, but most of the time that team chemistry will usually let you down. The players will play very poor. So as you can see, I edited the clip, but as you can tell by the time, it's only a minute into the game. We send a ball through, the defender can't keep up, and we just basically pass it into the corner. A little double tap, quick little double tap. Saito Berahino, the new signing, first goal within a minute. So, I mean, not only is he a great super signing, but that shows you defensively some of these guys can be a little bit weak, not necessarily because they're bad FIFA players, but if you don't have that chemistry going, your team is going to let you down. So we're at the halfway point in the game. Not a lot happened in that first half, outside of the first goal, but we did want to make a couple changes, bring on Kurzhakov, bring on Shop, I think is his name, and move him into the left center of the right center of the midfield. Basically solidify it a little bit more. These players are going to be very important for us, more so in future episodes, as we hope to, you know, have some gold players that we can bring off the bench. But in this game, I wasn't too concerned. It was more just because he paused the game. It was at halftime as well, that we could actually go out and, you know, bring some of these players on. So as we head into the second half, again, right off the start, ball right in through. Another easy finish. Berahino's got his second. He's actually, even though I said I wasn't super keen on necessarily upgrading the strikers right away because we didn't have too many problems in the first episode, Berahino's showing his class and, you know, definitely changed my opinion on what you kind of want to change right off the start. You know, if you have decent enough chemistry, getting a player that can go out and put away those types of finishes, very, very valuable, because those are the types of goals that a bronze player is probably not going to score. He'll score some of the in-tight ones if you can just kind of pass into the net, but he's not going to score too many finishes where you have to actually power a shot through. So Jason Puncheon there makes it 3-0. We're kind of coasting. This guy was fairly predictable in his passing. You know, his passes were always kind of across to the side to side type passing, and then he would try to cut into the middle, so it was fairly easy to read. Not an insult to this guy, but as you can see, he started getting a little bit more wild with his tackles, and it would cause some problems for him defensively. I believe he picked up quite a few yellows in this game, and Puncheon gets his second, our fourth. I mean, for a team that's essentially not even a full 100% chemistry team, I'm pretty happy with that. But more importantly, we're just looking to pick up those 3 points because we want to get out of Division 10. But at the same time, milking some of these games, not always a bad thing. So as this game finishes up, 90th minute here, we're going to finish 4-0. 2 goals from Puncheon, 2 goals from Berahino. Both very good signings, and those are the types of guys we want, well-rounded gold stats, you know, 70s and 80s if we can. Get the whole team basically set up in that formation. Once we have, or get the whole team set up with all well-rounded stats, and once we have that, then we can look at getting a fitness team. So as we head out of the first game, we go back onto the transfer market. We want to use those coins right away, those 700 coins, and see what we can get. Thought we could get a Wes Morgan here. Someone had him up for 700 coins for a rare that we'd even be able to discard if he ends up being terrible. Not the best pace, but we did miss out on him. You know, 50 pace is not the end of the world that we missed out on him, especially considering the rest of our team's bronze. It's not the end of the world that we would have to upgrade to a player with 50 pace, but his defending is so good. So we look in the rest of the market. There's a Ben Davies. Ben Davies is a pretty well-rounded card. He's higher pace considering the options that we had. So as you can see there, he's got 68 pace. That's not totally unlivable for a center back, especially in Division 10. You can survive. You're not going to want to play with Ben Davies at a higher division, but 68 pace, 78 defending, 70 physical. Those are decent stats, and more importantly, EPL player with the English background. We could bring in a left back, throw him at the right back there, and bring that chemistry up to 97. So we got a pretty well-rounded team now. What we want to do is get a right back with our next acquisition if we can. As we head into the second game here, we came up against FC Montreal. When I saw this team, I was more concerned with this team than I was against any of the other teams because he had 100 chemistry, and you can tell that he knew how to link his players. I'm not sure what English division that is, if it's division, or if it's EPL League 1 or 2. I don't think it's a championship. It's either English League 1 or 2. But he knew what he was doing. You could tell right off the start, too, he substitutes players in. I don't know if he saw my team and thought, hey, I'm coming up against some tough opposition. I would doubt it from just looking at my squad, but he subs off right away, or he pauses right away, and he makes a sub, and he brings on Gareth Bale, of all people. So I thought, how the heck did this guy get Gareth Bale as in Division 10? And as he comes up the field, he made a lot of these passes, a lot of these cross-field passes, and they ended up proving to be quite deadly. And that shot right there, hammers it into the far post, and I thought this guy's going to be a good opponent. He knows exactly what he's doing. This team's pretty well rounded, and he's got Gareth Bale on the field, so there's going to be a really long game ahead for us here. But we composed ourselves and went right onto the attack. As you can see, we went attacking. Because as soon as if I ever concede the first goal, I basically go attacking right away. Your team starts pushing up the field, and there you go. As we head into the 34th minute, through ball through, and I believe that was it was the Manchester City player, Will Patching, I think was his name. Hammers that shot through. Not the strongest shot in the world, one of those kind of FIFA finishes, but we'll take it. All we cared about was getting that goal and tying the game up, because this guy was a really good opponent. We weren't going to get too many opportunities like that. So as we head into the break, 1-1, as you can see with the stats, very tight game, and this was probably the toughest of the 4 games that we played so far, so we had to make sure that we brought our A game into this. As we head into the second, 57th minute, Korzakov makes it 2-1. Got a little lucky there. The tiki-taka type passing, or the triangle passing, showed that his defenders kind of were getting pulled apart, and I could have a couple opportunities. But, a little lucky on the slide goals. The slide goals are a little aidsy, but again, we'll take it. This guy was a really good opponent. All we want to do is score as many goals as we can, and then hope to, defend that lead. So as we go up 2-1, he pauses it right off the break, or right off the goal, and I don't know what he was doing changes-wise, but we wanted to bring on some of our goal players that were sitting on the bench so we could compete with this guy. Those goal players are going to prove to be very valuable, especially towards the later half of the game, as the bronzes don't have the best stamina. They tend to die down, and the last thing we need is to head into like the 85th, 86th minute with really low stamina and having bronze players making mistakes. So as he was pushing forward, he was really bringing his midfield and his defenders up the field. He ends up getting caught on the counter and making a really, really panicky slide tackle in the back there, as you can see by the replay here. It was kind of against the run of play, he didn't slide tackle, it was against the run of play, and a little unfortunate on his part because he was pressing quite hard. But we were defending, we were weathering the storm, and we were playing some counterattack football. I believe I went either balanced or defensive and then counterattack, just so we could just weather the storm there. And as we come up the field, the vet move penalty is we just slide the ball to one of the sides. With these guys, considering they don't have the highest ratings in the world penalty-wise, I want to go a little bit safer. I don't want to rocket shots into the corner, and just hope that we can catch him going the wrong way, which we did in that case. So 3-1 against this opponent, a guy with Bale and a full 100 chem team. I was pretty happy with this result. This was a very tough game, very challenging game, so credit to my opponent, FC Montreal. He deserves full marks for how he played. A little bit predictable sometimes on the attack because he was going cross field. It was catching my defenders, but with my defensive style, I'll just usually use the midfielders and just kind of let the defenders kind of take cover and shape there, and didn't really cause too many problems in the back. So as we show some of the stats here as we head into the end of the episode, not too many goals obviously from the backside, but Patching got 1 there. 4 assists for Darren Fletcher, so he's been good. Puncheon's got 3 in 3 games. Harrison's got 3 in 4 games, and Berahino 2 goals. I believe they were both in the first game. So pretty well rounded for the stats right off the start of the game. But we do have those 10 points, 3 wins and a draw, and all we need is 1 more victory as we head in to the end of the video here. We just need 1 more victory to get into Division 9. So drop a like on the video, comment, leave any comments down below, and if you're not following or subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel. Look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks.